Hey everybody, this is April from Second Star Journal, and this week we are documenting week 2 of Project Life. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I really struggled with this week. It kind of was a dull week, not much happened, so I didn't feel like I had much to journal about. But the pictures I did choose, first one is the upper right hand one. It's the biggest thing that happened for me last week is I posted my first process video on YouTube, so I took a screenshot of that from my YouTube channel and put it in a digital file from Everyday Explorer to make it look like a Polaroid. The picture below that is a press photo picture from Auto Camp Cape Cod because we booked a weekend in April, so we're kind of excited about that. And the last photo, lately Nate and I have been having breakfast with our iPads and choosing a webcam from around the country, so this is one of the days where we chose somewhere tropical. Once I pick out the journaling cards that I'm happy with from my old L Studio stash, I go through the die cuts to pick out the ones that kind of match the theme and place them on the cards that I think it would go good on. Now I did leave 2 open spots, as you can tell. I was going to go through my digital files to see if there's any digital journaling cards that kind of match the theme of the spread. And I also wanted to see if I had any paper that could kind of tone down all the blues. Once I am happy with the die cuts, I put them to the side and I pull out my paper stash and I find this perfect blue and white coffee mug paper that fits perfectly behind that coffee picture of breakfast. And I also print out a digital file from L Studio Good Cheer Digitals, and I love it because it is a star that says Let It Shine, and it's going next to my Second Star YouTube post. And I don't know if you can tell, but the blue behind that Second Star photo is blue with white stars on it, so I just loved how everything matched. I also love how this coffee paper is kind of like a faded blue, so it tones down all the brightness in the blue from the spread, and it just kind of makes it seem like it's meant to be there. Now that I have everything where I want it to be, I grab my title card and my stamping pad, which I've said in the last video, I just use a mouse pad and it works perfect. But I go through my labels to see if there's any kind of label that matches the theme of the whole spread, where I can put my dates on, and find the December labels from L Studio, which I believe they are discontinued now, but I will try to link everything in the description below of items I used. Continuing with the theme of wanting to use all of my previous products, I go through my alpha stash to see if there's any alphas that can spell out the word week instead of stamping it, and I don't see any that I kind of like, but I do stumble across a Felicity Jane Amber puffy alpha stickers and see a number in there that I want to use. So I put the alphas to the side and grab my Citrus Twist Weekish stamp set and find one of the weeks that I like. And I do like the stamp set because it has so many different ways it says week, so many different sizes, that it gives me a variety each week. Since this is my first time using this stamp, I do like to prep it by using an eraser and then stamping it a couple of times on some spare pieces of paper just to make sure the coverage is well. And as you can see, there is a little bit of a kink in the case, so I just rub my fingers over it and stamp it again, and then pull my title card over and decide where I want to place it and just make sure I push down really hard and it comes out perfectly. As you can see, I use the archival jet black ink and I love the coverage it has on my stamps. Only thing it does do is it stains the stamps, but it's not a big deal, it doesn't ruin them. This is the point where I pull over those Felicity Jane Amber puffy stickers and pull out the number 2 that has this mustard color. I do place it all the way to the right because I wanted to put a 0, but I did not leave enough space, so I just pull it up easily enough and place it next to the word week. At this point, I decide that I don't know if I like that gray label because it just seems like it drowns out the colors for me. So I place that rainbow colored label there and move on to my next picture just so I can think about it. Now this journaling card was blue with white stars and a little white area to have some journaling, but I really wanted to use this because of the stars on it, and I needed to cover up that white, so I find that yellowish mustard colored tag, and it fits perfectly. It doesn't hide too much of the stars, and it doesn't take away from my picture, so I make sure that I put the picture that stars are showing and then place that yellow tag over that white spot, but leave enough to show that it says second star, and just staple it and call this one done. Now on to my next card, which is the camping card. I wanted to have this put on a 4x6 card that left enough space for journaling, which is why I chose this right here card, and just cut down the photo to make sure that there's enough room to leave that saying there, and just stick it down. And I know it's going to happen quick, but after it's stuck down, I move on quickly to the top left card and bring that to my typewriter and type out my journaling for the week, as you can see there. This last card's going to go really quick. I basically just stick my photo to that paper and then grab that mustard yellow little tag, because I know you can't tell, but I had dishes stacked up in the background, so I just wanted to cover those up. So I go back to this right here card and pull out, I have some traveling stamps, and there's a stamp on there that says, "Let's go anywhere." And I loved that because it's basically at the point where we just want to get away. So I stamp it and test it out on my spare piece of paper, but then looking at the card, I don't feel like there's a good place to put it. So I stamp it again on my spare scrap paper and then cut it out to use that instead of stamping directly on the card or the photo. Looking at it on the photo, I feel like the white kind of drowns it out, so I grab that rainbow color flag and stick it to that and cut off the extra, and then place that on my photo, and I love how the colors all kind of pull together. I will say this, I am the first to admit that I am horrible at cutting a straight line. I really should have just used my chopper, but to be honest, I don't think you could tell at all. I pull over one of my Kelly Creates markers and just add quick little journaling, basically the name, the location, and the date we're checking in, and then finalize that with a little die cut that says yes, and call this card good. Onto the title card again. I pull it over because I want to stamp out the days of the week, and I really like the way that rainbow label matches the whole spread. So I grab my Heidi Swap stamp set and the roller stamp set, and use that to stamp out the days of the week. And then I use a little pen to put a dash. I believe I actually put a heart between the weeks to kind of separate them. Now, before you saw me moving the label all around the title card, but I did decide right above the week 2, I liked how it fit there. So I left a little space to show the blue, and then I cut off the extra and then call that card done. At this point, I'm just looking at my spread and feel like that webcam picture just needs a little bit more. So I look through my stamps and find a Heidi Swap stamp set where she has one that says "Enjoy the view," and it matches perfectly. But I know that there's too much black in that photo, so I stamp it on my spare piece of paper and then grab one of my circle punches and punch it out and then stick it to the top right corner. I do have to pull up the little yellow tag a little bit because I wanted it to be underneath that, but it pulls up perfectly, and I cut off the spare pieces around it and called that card good for now. Next, I move on to my word phrases. I love word phrases, as you can tell by the amount of word phrase stickers I have. I do come across this one that says breakfast, that's from El Studio, and stick that down to that webcam picture and then go through them again just to make sure there's none that match, and then call that good. And to move on to my chipboard and puffy stickers, because I feel like that Let It Shine card is missing something. You'll see in the review pictures afterwards that I did end up finding a yellow chipboard piece that I stuck down, but I didn't like it after the fact, so I pulled it up and replaced it with a word phrase that says January, but you will see that in the pictures afterwards. Either way, thank you for watching. I hope you like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next week, so don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you! you.